we were able to raise over $80,000 for the Colorectal Cancer Alliance through the t-shirt sales, which is absolutely incredible and surpassed my expectations, and I think the expectations of a lot of others. So it's just another testament to everybody in Baltimore and their support and rallying around me during this really tough time. It just means the world to me. And I've gotten to know a lot of amazing people that work with the Colorectal Cancer Alliance and people who have had colon cancer as well. So they all help me tremendously throughout my process. So being able to give back to them is really important to me and something that I'm going to continue to do in the future. And health-wise, I'm feeling great. I feel totally like myself, and I'm working out, hitting, and just getting ready for spring training now.
All right. Thank you, Trey. We'll start with questions, starting with Dan Connolly.
Hey, Trey, how are you?
Hey, Dan. Good. How about you?
Good. I'm partially inclined to ask you about Saturday's game instead of the matter at hand, but we'll stick with that for now. A lot of people, we talk about what this normal is going to look like, next year and the year after and whatever, once we get through the pandemic and such. And obviously you dealing with your own personal situation. Have you thought about, what your new normal is like in the perspective? We always talk about the perspective, but the perspective that has changed really this full calendar year for you?
Yeah, my perspective has changed a whole lot, especially baseball wise. Obviously, my ultimate goal has always been to come back and be back to myself on the baseball field. But that really played second fiddle to just wanting to be healthy. I've always appreciated being healthy, but never like I have this year. And having your health and feeling good is so important in life. And I don't want to say that I took it for granted before, but I definitely have a newfound appreciation for it. And in the future, I mean, obviously every 3 months I go get checked up and have appointments with my oncologist. So we're going to stay on top of it from here on out. And that's my new normal. That withstanding, I'm also very excited to get back to normal life kind of before all of this happened too.
Next, Joe Trezza.
Hey, Trey, good to see you and glad to hear that you're feeling well.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. I'm just curious how, kind of along those lines, but how does COVID, if it's still going on, affect your outlook for 2021? Like, even if you're recovered, would you still be considered immunocompromised because of the pandemic?
I'm not totally, having had cancer definitely, I think, puts you in that category for sure. There are a few major league players like Carlos Carrasco, Anthony Rizzo, John Lester. I know they played this year, but they also, had to be even more careful than some other players, I feel like. So even if you're recovered, from your cancer, you still want to be careful. And I think probably around now, I feel like my blood cell counts have gone back up. So hopefully I'm not, more susceptible to contracting it. Hopefully that's all built back up, but it is something that you really want to be careful with because you don't know for sure exactly how you're going to react to it.
Next, Rich Dubroff.
Hey, Trey, normally in a normal off season, you wouldn't be hitting now, would you?
No, not till like after Thanksgiving, early December normally is when I started.
Yeah. So what is your time between now and assuming spring training starts as scheduled in mid-February? What's that going to look like in terms of workouts?
So I work out 5 times a week, doing different stuff, and I'm hitting those days too. So right now I'm still just doing T work. It's something you want to slowly progress into because I had a pretty good amount of time off. So you really want to ease into it, retrain your muscles. Sometimes I have the inkling sometimes to go in there and take swings at 100% right at the beginning. And you got to remember you're not totally conditioned for that, but I've already built up a pretty good amount and I'm doing some short overhand tossing pretty soon. So, by the time, especially December rolls around in a few weeks, I'll probably even be ahead of where I normally am in the off season.
Next, John Venezia.
Hey, Trey, John Venezia. Glad to see that you're doing better. And, I've been following your story and your progress throughout the whole season. So I just want to say I'm happy that you're doing well.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I had a 2-part question for you. What's been your mindset throughout this whole experience, especially knowing there's so many people behind you?
it's been getting through every day. You're going to have good days and bad days. That's what everybody that I talked to before I started chemotherapy and even before my surgery, they said, you're going to have some really good days, really bad days. Don't get too high on the good days. Don't let the bad days really drag you down and make your outlook a lot worse. You just kind of, you got to make it through the next day. And I did that. And honestly, it flew by. I thought it was going to be the longest 6 months imaginable, but luckily I have, the greatest support system in the world. You all know Sarah took care of me literally every day and just made my life so much easier. So, I'm forever grateful to her for that. It was really tough, but luckily I was surrounded by some great people that made it better.
Can you describe that feeling that you had when the Orioles sent you that team picture where all the players signed a personal message for you, because it went viral on Twitter, and it was just great to see, but then your organic reaction to it was even better?
Yeah, it was amazing, especially because I wasn't allowed around the stadium for good reason, obviously, this year. So it was really tough to be away from the guys for that long. I had never gone through a season where I wasn't playing baseball and a part of a team and having that camaraderie every day with all the guys. So I really missed that. So to get that picture and to see what they did for me throughout the year, and then, kind of ending on signing that team picture for me is something that I'm so grateful for and will always cherish.
Next, Nathan Ruiz.
Hey, Trey, good to see you.
Yeah, you too, Nathan.
What are the next steps for you? What hurdles are left to clear? What do the next couple months, couple years even look like for you in terms of making sure you're prepared and ready and healthy?
Yeah. So, like I said, I get checked up every 3 months for this first year. And then I believe it goes to 6 months for the next few years after that. So it's just like blood work and getting scans, just checking in, making sure everything looks good. Because the biggest worry, obviously is a recurrence. So you pray that never happens. I feel really good about things. I've had a lot of pretty extensive blood tests and scans, and everything looks great. There was no trace of tumor DNA or cancer in my bloodstream, which is great, but it's still something you have to monitor. So at the same time, that's something that's pretty largely out of my control. I'm doing everything I can physically to be ready to play and to still have a long career. And I'm feeling really good about that. And, another thing you worry about before chemotherapy are the side effects of chemotherapy. And luckily, I'm feeling really good because you have to worry about neuropathy can be a long-term side effect of it. Sometimes there's a few things, but luckily I am, totally good in that regard. My coordination is just as good as it was, and everything, feels fantastic. So I feel strong and like myself.
Joe Trezza again.
Yeah, Trey, do you plan on continuing your advocacy for early screening and awareness? And if so, how do you plan on doing that?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I'm just getting started with that. It's something that is very important to me. And yeah, I've got a few ideas of what to do. I'm my older sister and Sarah and a few other people are really helping me plan a few events to benefit the Colorectal Cancer Alliance to help with early screening, because people are getting it at a much younger age now, and we're not exactly sure why, but there is a reason. So we want to find that out. And obviously colonoscopies, they can be expensive, especially if you're a younger person. It's probably not going to be covered by your insurance. So I think maybe helping some people that maybe can't afford it, that are in a high risk population, that's something I'm really interested in doing, is maybe helping them pay for their colonoscopies too. Because it's easy to say, go get screened, go get a colonoscopy, but some people just can't, unfortunately, afford to do it. So, I really want to try to help some people out monetarily with getting their screenings done.
Dan Connolly.
Trezza kind of stole my thunder a little bit there, Trey, but it's kind of to follow up on that. Have you thought much about why this has happened to you, and how to kind of take that onto, the screenings and the platform that you have?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll kind of wonder like what it was that caused it. Obviously my dad had it, but he was, close to 60 years old when he had it. And it wasn't, I didn't test positive for any like genetic, disorders that were inherited from him. So, there's so many things that it could have possibly been. So there, you know, I kind of got to a point where I was thinking there's no use of really guessing exactly what it could have been. It could have been multiple things. You know, sometimes you're just unlucky in that regard. And you know, I didn't really try to ask why too much. I just wanted to get through it and attack it and you know, get back to being myself.
Rich Dubroff.
Hey, Trey, have you talked with Brandon and Mike about what 2021 is going to look like for you? Whether, you know, whether first base is in your future, because so many things have changed with the club in the time that you were out, adding, you know, with Cedric playing a lot, DJ and Austin. Do you know what 2021 is going to look like for you?
Not exactly. We haven't really talked about that too much because I mean, obviously I've been through a lot this year, so that was kind of the last thing on our minds. But now that we've turned that corner, you know, obviously it's something everybody's thinking about. But I've said this my rookie year. I say it now, wherever they want me to play, whatever they want me to do, I'll do it. You know, I never take that for granted, getting to play Major League Baseball every day. It's been my dream my whole life. So if they want me in the outfield, I'll play outfield. If they want me at first, I'll be there. DH, I'll be there. If they want to try me out at second base, I'll do it. I don't recommend that, but literally whatever they want. I mean, I'm thankful to go out there and perform for the team, and I know I'll do that.
Brett Hollander.
Hey, Trey, it's great to see you're well. Along those lines, how often did you watch during the season, and how into the games were you, and what were your takeaways from what you saw, especially some of the younger players like the Mountcastles, the Kramers, the Aikens, and that group?
Yeah, I watched a lot. I tried to watch basically every game, and I did for the most part. Whenever I was home, I had the TV on MASN watching the game. So it was so exciting. And I know a lot of those guys, obviously, that got called up this year and had heard about them the last few years, and they were all as advertised. They all came up. They weren't, you know, scared, timid. They went up there and seized their opportunities, and that's what you got to do at that level. And I love all their mindsets, and I think that'll go a long way. That group coming up is, you know, really good with that. I think they go out there, they're not scared. You know, the pitchers all attack the zone. Mountcastle, he, you know, did such a good job of being aggressive, but at the same time taking his walks. Did a great job in the outfield. So I'm proud of all of those guys for, you know, how well they did this year and performed, because it was obviously a really strange year for everybody, and getting called up in a year like that probably isn't too easy. Especially not being able to have your family there, your you know, debut and stuff, but they all handled it so well.
Joe Trezza.
Yeah, Trey, we talk a lot about, you know, the idea of getting back to baseball, but what are your goals from a baseball standpoint? You know, do you think if spring training started when it's supposed to start, that you could be full go by then? Do you look at opening day as a goal? Like where are you at mindset wise there?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely, you know, there's no reason right now, no reason for me to believe that if spring training started tomorrow, I wouldn't be ready to go, because I really would. You know, I've recovered well, and I've been working really hard since I finished chemo, you know, just kind of building myself back up. And at this point, I feel really strong and capable of playing Major League Baseball. So, yeah, I mean, I'll be ready for spring training. I really know that. So, yeah, that's obviously a goal, and something that I want to continue to work towards is obviously being ready for opening day. But, you know, and fingers crossed I am, because it would just be something out of my control that would cause me to not be out there. But, you know, from a physical standpoint and everything like that, I'm good to go.
Nathan Ruiz.
So Trey, kind of just going off that, you don't expect, are there any, I'm sure you're getting tired, like you mentioned, you're kind of pacing yourself, but are there any limitations for you going forward based off what you've dealt with?
No. I'm doing everything like I always have done, every year and then some. So no, physically, I mean, I'm to the point now where I'm pushing myself. My workouts are really tough, and no, I don't have any limitations from a physical standpoint from the treatment or surgery or anything like that. I'm good.
John Venezia.
Both of those gentlemen kind of stole my thunder. I was just going to follow up to say on Joe Trezza's question, as well as Nathan, what the schedule is looking for you to start ramping up the training to get yourself back into game shape if you're indeed 100% cleared, and kind of how long do you think it would take for you to get back into the swing of it?
Not long at all. Again, like when I get there in February, I really think everybody will look at me and think that nothing happened if they didn't know what happened. So, it's something I've been inspired ever since I finished chemo. That was a huge milestone for me. And then all my attention turned back towards baseball. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty confident in the work I've been putting in and what I've been doing. So, I'm ready to go and have another good year next year.
Joe Trezza?
Trey, quick follow-up. How creative did you get with the workouts in quarantine? We saw the dog squats. Was there anything else? The puppy squats? Was there anything else?
Yeah, the puppy squats. And I think that was the only kind of off the wall workout. I was able to do like these 25 to 30 minute kind of like cardio / like lightweight workouts. Sarah and I would do them. So kind of on the weeks that I felt good, since I got treatments every other week, that off week, I'd feel good, good enough to work out and everything like that. And that helped me tremendously. Once I was done with chemotherapy, I didn't start from ground zero because of those workouts and everything like that. I definitely maintained a decent amount of my strength and felt pretty good. So that helped a lot. So any day that I felt good, or even if I didn't feel good, I just go out and we'd go take a long walk or something like that. That even helped. Even when you're not feeling good, getting up and walking around instead of, you want to lay around all day and when you're not feeling well, but getting up and moving really does help in your recovery.